I have been working in the Epilogue of Hammurapi, looking at the translation, transcription, transliteration, and normalization and translation. And I've been working through the grammar of of that work, Hammurapi's Epilogue. And now we've worked our way up to line 26. And this is in actually part 50. And so again, if anyone would like to follow along, they can find my Akkadian work out online on Google Books under a short inductive Akkadian grammar based on the Epilogue of Hammurapi's Code, and then with biblical parallels to the Hebrew Scriptures and with New Testament application to Christ. I am a Christian minister, and so I bring it into the New Testament as well as I'm going through it, if there is a kind of application that seems to be valid. So we are now at line 26, and I've done up to that point, and I've decided to pick it up again and hopefully try to finish the epilogue. So it reads, and by the way, Hammurapi is cursing any king or anyone that would follow him that would not observe his laws. So this is a cursing section, I guess you would say, where he is writing these curses on anyone that would erase what he had written or what he had inscribed. So we go to line 26. Ina birishu shirim limnam sha nasach ishte sharutishu uchalak matishu lishkun shum. So we read it, in his offering, an evil omen of the uprooting of the foundations of his kingdom and the ruin of his land may he establish for him. That is, may Shamash, the sun god, establish for any following king that would try to erase or destroy Hammurapi's laws. So it reads, or going into the grammar, I should say, and I'm doing an inductive grammar. I'm trying to look at each word grammatically and analyze it that way as well. So in a berishu would be in his divination. It's from birshu, and it means, or birum, it means divination, and shu is your pronominal suffix, third masculine singular. So in his divination, where he's trying to get a prediction about the future, it says, Shiram limnan sha nasach ishte sharutisha. That is, an evil omen of the uprooting of the foundations of his kingdom. This is what Hammurapi is wishing, that this king that would erase anything he had done or try to efface it, that he, in his divination, where he's trying to determine the future, that he would find an evil omen. Shuram means omen, and limnan is an adjective from limnu, meaning evil. And so here we have the direct object. Notice am is indicative in Akkadian of the accusative. So in his offering, an evil omen. Sha nasach, of the uprooting, ishti sharutisha, of the uprooting of the foundations of his kingdom. Notice Shah here is functioning almost in a genitival way, an evil omen of the uprooting of the foundations of his kingdom. Notice Nasach is from Nashum, or Nashu. By the way, the mem, or the final m, was added in the ancient Babylonian text. So an evil omen of the uprooting of the foundations of his kingdom. Notice Ishdi is from Ishdu, and notice Suhush is the Sumerian, which is written in capital letters, and then below it, in my grammar, I have the Akkadian, the way it should be read. And so of the uprooting of the foundations. Notice Ishdi is the oblique genitive or accusative plural form, and here we're looking at a genitival form of the uprooting of the foundations of his kingdom. Notice Sharutishu is from kingdom, Sharutu, foundation, and then Sharutu is kingdom. So, and Shu is your pronominal suffix, third masculine singular. And notice the I here, a long I, is showing that we're looking at, again, the genitive of the foundations of his kingdom, genitive plural from Sharutu. It's a singular here, of the foundation of his kingdom. And notice Shu is your pronominal suffix, third masculine singular, as we had said. And U chalak matishu lishkun shum. And the ruin of his land may he establish for him. Notice here, U is the conjunction, and chalak is from chalku, it means ruin. And notice it's in construct with matishu, and so chalku becomes halak in construct, and it means in the ruin of his land. Matu means land, and so again we have the genitive singular in the I here, the I, and then Shu again is the pronominal suffix, third masculine singular. So of the uprooting of the foundations of his kingdom and the ruin of his land, lishkun shum, may he establish for him. Notice here we have from shakanu, to establish. We have a G precative, a third masculine singular from shakanu, to establish or cause to be established. And notice shum here is the dative singular, may he establish for him, shum. So, and by the way, notice the verb comes at the end. So may he establish for him a divination of an evil omen, the uprooting of the foundations of his kingdom and the ruin of his land. This is how it would read. And again, the verb goes at the end of a phrase following the order of the Sumerian text. So the Akkadian does the same here. As we move on in line 31, Awatum Marushtum Shah Shamish Archish Likshushu. That is, may the disastrous word. Notice Awatum means word. It's the nominative. It's the nominative singular masculine singular, may the word, the disastrous word, followed by the adjective marushtum. So may the evil word of Shamash, which is of Shamash, again, notice Shah here has almost a genitival idea here of Shamash. Archish, quickly, an adverb, quickly, may it come to him. Notice here, the root here is kashadu, and kashadu means to come near. And shakadu, kashadu, when you add kashad shu, you have kashasu. So may it come upon him. Here we have another G precative, third masculine singular from kashadu, may it come near. So he's wishing, again, a disastrous word of Shamash, the sun god, may it come near to this king that would do, that would efface what Hammurabi has put up. And then as we read on, Elish inna baututim lisuchshu, that is above, among the living. And notice inna takes the genitive here. Inna, the preposition does take the genitive, and baututim is the plural, meaning living ones. So among the living ones, or the living, may he root him out. Lesushu is from the root nasahu. Notice it has a one noon form, nasahu. And so what happens here, the noon, can we say, the in assimilates into the S here from nasahu. Same thing in Hebrew. We have that pay noon verb with assimilation that occurs throughout. So may he root him out, nasahu. Again, we have a G precative, third masculine singular, followed by the pronominal suffix in the shu. So may he root him out. In other words, may he not be allowed to continue among the living ones, is what Hammurabi is cursing this king that might follow him and do away with what he had written. Then we continue, Shaplish in ertsetim etimishu, me lishatsmi. That is, in the earth, that would have the idea of probably under the earth, in like the Hebrew Sheol. And so it would be the ghosts that live under the earth. And notice Inna takes the genitive here in ertsetim, from ertsetu, meaning earth. So within the earth, etimishu, and notice Gidim shu, Gidim with capital letters is the Sumerian, and shu is the pronominal suffix, third masculine singular. And the Akkadian would be etimishu, that is his shade, and etemu means shade. So in the earth, his shade, again, of his shade, here again we have the genitive followed by the pronominal suffix, again in the shu. For water may he cause to thirst. Notice may is from mu, And it again is the genitive ending. And lishatsmi is from samu, meaning to thirst. And notice that sheen introduces a causative idea. So we have this sheen stem here, and it's a sheen precative, third masculine singular from the root samu, meaning to thirst. So may he cause to thirst for water, is what the curse that Hammurabi is writing here. And then in line 41, Dinger Zuin, Bel Shameh, Ilum Bani Shah Sirusu Hina Ili Shupat. That is, may sin, the Lord of heaven. Notice Zuain again is the Sumerian. That little D represents a god, a dinger, what we call D-I-N-G-E-R, dinger sign. So may Zuin or sin. Sin is the moon god, and in ancient Babylonian religion. And so he's already called Shamash, the sun god, now the moon god, Sin, the Lord of heaven, Bel Shameh. Notice Bel here means Lord. It's in construct, Belu, in construct here with Shamu becoming Shameh in the genitive form. May Sin, the Lord of heaven, the God who creates. Here we have Dinger, capital D-I-N-G-E-R, meaning God, referring back to Sin, the God who creates. And Ilum is the Akkadian word for God, Ilum Bani. Notice Bani is your G participle, masculine singular, from Banu, to create. Notice in the participial form of the G stem, you have an AI vowel pattern. So may the God who creates, probably me understood here, Shah, Sherusu, Ina Ili Shupat, that is, whose his chastening among the gods is visible. Shah is the relative pronoun whose, or who, and notice Sherusu is from Shertu, and Shertu means chastening or punishment. So his chastening or punishment, and notice that Shertu becomes Sheret Shu, which becomes Seresu. That is the T and the S, or the sheen, become to change to, in the transliteration, I should say, to two S's here. So Sheresu, whose chastening is among the gods is visible. Notice Hinna means among, and Ili is the plural of the genitive plural of Ilum, among the gods, and Shupat is from the root Wapu, and the W has elided, and that Shu shows we're looking at a sheen stem, and it is a sheen, I'm understanding it as a stative here, is visible. That is, his chastening among the gods is caused to become visible. And so he's wishing God's chastening, the moon god's chastening, upon any future king that would erase or destroy what he had written. And then he goes on, Hammurabi goes on, Agaguza, A-G-A, capital A-G-A and capital G-U-Z-A, means the crown of the throne. Notice Agam is the genitive singular from agum, meaning crown, and the Akkadian of Guza, from the Sumerian, Guza, becomes a kusam, meaning throne. So the crown, and we could supply and between here, the throne, Shah Sharutim, of kingship. Notice again, Sharutim is the genitive singular from Sharutu, meaning kingship. May he take away. Litershu. This is from the root taru, to remove or take away. Here we have a G precative, third masculine singular from taru. May he take him away or take it away, referring to the crown and kingship. May he take it away. And that shu here again is your pronominal suffix, third masculine singular. And then Hammurabi goes on, Arnam kabtam shirusu rabitam sha ena zumrishu la echaliku limusuma. That is heavy guilt. Notice Arnam is from arnu, meaning guilt, and it is an accusative singular, heavy guilt. Notice the am ending, indicative of the accusative singular form. U is your nominative, e is your genitive, is your accusative. So heavy guilt. Notice kaptam means heavy, an adjective here. So heavy guilt, his chastening. Notice sharusu is from sher-tu again, or sharusu is from sher-tu, meaning punishment, and rabitam means great. So his great punishment or chastening, which is in his body, shall not flee. May he open to him, break open to him, heavy guilt, chastening, great chastening in his body, which shall not flee. Notice here, Zimrishu is from Zimru, meaning body, and the ena takes the genitive case here with the I. So in, his, and shu is your pronominal suffix, again, third masculine singular. La is your negative particle, and then echaliku is from halaku, meaning to flee. A G present, subjunctive, third masculine singular. Notice the subjunctive follows the sha here. May it not flee away. And subjunctive, by the way, is not like Greek, where we have subjunctive looking at possibility. It just often appears in Akkadian after the sha, after the pronominal, after sha, the relative pronoun. So halaku is from halaku, which means to flee. So what he's saying here, basically, may he break open. Limusuma means to break open to him. And break open to him guilt, heavy guilt, great chastening, his great punishment, which is going to be in his body. May it or shall it not flee. And so this is Hammurabi then wanting this upon or giving a curse to, again, any future king that would try to destroy what he had written. I think I'm going to stop there and go on afterwards. It's been a while since I put up a video on the Akkadian grammar, inductive Akkadian grammar. And it's a good challenge to me to keep it alive, to keep working. I basically am working on biblical text, especially Hebrew and Greek, and doing inductive study, grammatical study of Hebrew in the Psalter, and also in Greek in the New Testament, and doing similar, looking at each word analytically. If anyone would be interested, you can find this on my YouTube site under my name, Dr. Gary Stadt. So again, thank you. I hope this helps. If anyone would have any corrections, please feel free to let me know. It helps me to try to keep my the grammar that I learned years ago in my PhD studies, in which I had a number of years of Akkadian. It's helping me to try to keep it alive during my retirement. And so thank you for listening, and I hope this is helpful. If you want to work through it with me, again, go to Google Books and you'll find my work called A Short Inductive Akkadian Grammar, and we'll try to work from that and give the grammar. For those that would want to go into the cuneiform, you can find the cuneiform text also. Probably, I'm sure, from what I've seen, can be found on Google Books or on Google somewhere. So again, I would just encourage that. I have the Akkadian text that I'm going to begin to work through, the cuneiform, I should say, and try to continue to work in that with what I have here in my study. So again, thank you, and I hope this might be some help.